They've got no vibe to them. There's no sauce in them. That's why we're chosen. That's why we're special. Have you seen their food? Have you seen Jamie Oliver? Have you seen the way they cook? Alright? Gordon Ramsay. Alright? They don't have no essence to them, man. They're zombies on the earth. They have to create suntan lotion to stand in the sun. Alright? Look at his face. It looks like he's peeling, man. And your dumb wink, the demon winks that they do. Some batty man, idolatry, chichi man styles, man. But yet they want to get a tan. And go to the suntan, the tan lotion, and go to the beds, the sun beds. Alright? Why? Because they want to be us. They want to act like us. But the Most High says that they're fit for slavery. Do you know that? Do you know you're going to be, if you keep God's commandments and you honor your husband, you're going to be able to receive a kingdom of heaven. But you got to teach your husband that we're the Israelites and he must keep God's commandments for you to be saved. You understand? It ain't a thing where women are just going to be saved by Jesus and stuff like that. But like Yahweh Shai is only going to come for chosen men. And through the bloodline of chosen men. Let's read that. Let's get the 2/3 of the nations. Because get Amos chapter 9 and verse 10. Get me Zechariah chapter 13. Alright? Yeah, there's 2/3 of our people that are going to be destroyed. Alright? So let's, if they say there's what? 7 billion people on the earth. Alright? And let's say that we are the sands of the sea, we are the salt of the sea, the sand of the sea, right? So let's say we're half of the population of the world, right? Because it says Abraham, your seed you'll be the sons of nations, right? You'll be the father of nations, right? So okay, we spread out like the sand, salt of the sea. Imagine the sands of the sea, that's a lot of sand, that's a lot of people. So say we're half of the population of the world. 7 billion, we're 3.5. We're just making up numbers. We're not trying to count the Israelites. We're just giving you figures, right? Like example figures, right? So we're 3.5 billion of the earth. Imagine 3.5 billion of the Israelites get destroyed. So let's take away the 5. Let's just say 3 billion of the earth, right? 2 billion Israelites are going to be destroyed. 1 billion are going to be saved. But out of that 1 billion, only 144,000 are going to be prime ministers, kings, lawyers, governors, alright, MPs, alright, we're going to be rulers, yeah? That's the elect, the selected elect, alright? They're going to be rulers over the billion Israelites that fear and try their best to keep commandments as well, right? But they're going to come back through the bloodline of Israelites, of the chosen elect, alright? But that's how everything's going to be done, in decency and order, according to the Bible. Read that. It's heavy, but this we understand the prophecy of the former things and the things that we read that earlier. Isaiah 42, was it Isaiah 46? Sorry, isn't it? Isaiah 46 and 9. We read this earlier. Let's read it again.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 46 and verse 9. Remember the former things of old. For I am your power, I am power, and there is none else. I am Yahweh, and there is none like me. Declaring the end from the beginning, and from the ancient time, the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure.
So declaring the end from the beginning, he's already declared what's going to happen in the future. It says in Isaiah that there shall be no more wars when the Israelites go back to their kingdom. And there's going to be just righteousness on the land. So this ain't happened yet. They can't say that Balfour declaration when the Jewish people went into Israel, that they said that prophecy has come to pass. That's a lie. That's preparing. Alright? So we need to get ourselves in the right mindset. Alright?
The book of Zechariah 13 verses 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the 3rd part shall be left therein. And I will bring the 3rd part through the fire. I will refine them as silver is refined. I will try them as gold is tried.
So when you see Meshach, Shadrach and Abednego, they got put in the furnace, but they was ready to be tried. They said, we'll go in the furnace, alright? And we'll be tried. That is what's going to happen now. We're going to have martial law troops coming in, alright? They're going to kick down doors, say, do you want to get the poison? or do you not want to get the poison? This is you, this is the Most High watching to see if you're going to fit the trial, if you're going to be prepared. Alright? Alright? This is you even hearing this word today is a trial in itself. Because if you buck up against this word, it's like you're walking down the road, you don't know where you're going. Alright? A man that wandereth out of the way of understanding remains in the congregation. Give me Proverbs chapter. This is all spirit. Everything we do is spiritual. Alright? I'm not saying what we're doing. Everybody is doing the will of the Most High. Alright? Whether they like it or not. Alright? Because the ICB and missiles, nuclear weapons, is written in the Bible. Alright? Fire and brimstone is written in the Bible. Alright? And who do you think done? You think that if they were against God, they would have said, I'm not going to make the nuclear weapons.
Yes.
Alright? If they were against God, they would say, I'm not going to put them into captivity. You see, they are doing God's judgment. God says he's going to use them to put us into captivity. They are doing the will of God. We can't say, oh, why did God do that to us? Why? It wasn't because of them. It was because of the Most High Yahweh. He put that spirit on them to do it. Proverbs 16 and 25. No. To read this Amos, but you said that. A man that wanders out of the way of understanding remaineth in the congregation. The way that seemeth right unto a man. Give me Proverbs chapter 21.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 21 and verse 16. The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead.
Exactly. Give me 20. Give me Proverbs 20 and 24.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 20 and verse 24.
Bring it out.
24. A man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way?
So all of our goings are of the Most High. We don't understand even why we woke up in the morning and we was, you know what I mean, doing certain things. We don't understand why you walked up here today and your goings are of the way of the Most High. If you don't understand the ways that you're moving in, you can end up in the congregation of the dead. So now when it says the ways to the Most High, right? It says Matthew chapter 7. Alright, we understand the ways of the Most High. It says, why is Matthew chapter 7? It says verse 15.
This is the book of Matthew chapter 7 and verse 15. Beware of false prophets.
Matthew chapter 7 verse 30.
This is the book of Matthew chapter 7 verse 13. Enter ye at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth into destruction.
So the way that we can walk into destruction, right, is when we're doing the ways of the wideness, of the wide people. Alright? We're meant to enter into the narrow path. Alright? And keeping the commandments for certain people is a narrow path. They see it as being righteous is a bad thing. But being wicked is so wide to do wickedness. Like if you just wanted to do whatever you want, for the Israelites, there's no free will. There's no such thing as free will for the Israelites. Alright? Because we're made a covenant with him. Yeah. No, we can't, when the Bible says it specifically in Corinthians, you can't speak in any unknown tongue. Alright? Let's just say Kahala, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahar, Rakash, Kadash. Alright? So, yeah, do you understand what that means?
So what about other first?
Alright. No, sister, wait, let's do one thing at a time. Alright? The Pentecost, okay, when it says in Acts chapter 2 about the Pentecost, and they started to speak in an unknown tongue, that was they was told to do what? Go out and spread the gospel. All right. Remember, it says that if you are my servants indeed, it says if you spread the gospel, if you gather the sheep. And they asked many times, the disciple says, what do I do? He says, gather my sheep. What do I do? Gather my sheep. He kept saying, gather the sheep. But the sheep have done doing what? All right, give me that in, is it spread the corners, that spread was it James?
James 1.
Yeah, read that. All right, we're going to answer your question, because when you read Acts chapter 2, the understanding is that they had a gift, and the gift and the spiritual gift that was given to them wasn't just to speak in just any tongue. It was different languages, and them different languages are not just when you're like in the churches. That's not tongues. All right. When we say that sounds like tongues in the churches, isn't it? Because in our DNA, in our ancestors, they speak the Hebrew. All right, but they don't understand what they're saying. We have translated the Hebrew and we can make sense from it. That sounds like nonsense in the church. We have to know what we're saying. When we say halal, even the Arabs, they're sons of Ishmael, right? All right, they say halal. Halal means praise. To them, it means clean food. They say Allah. Allah in the Hebrew, Allah. Look, Allah. It just means God. Allah just means power. But God's name is Yahweh. The Almighty power. We are gods. We are gods on the earth. Psalms 82 and 6 says, ye are gods on the earth. So we are power.
This spiritual language that they are saying, God gave it language. You can speak the language, the spiritual language, in another tongue. It's not only one tongue.
All right, listen, sister. In Acts chapter 4, verse 12, it says, "There's no other name where you might be saved. There's only one way that you can be saved, and there's only one name there. You can't call him Jesus. All right, you can't call him Yahushua. There's only one real name for the Heavenly Father. You cannot blaspheme the name of Yahweh. All right? Because what it is, we've learned. Sister, one second. No, but you call him Jesus. Yeah, so there we go. There we go. There's not many different ways of spiritual language. There's not. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And Emmanuel that's another English. It's Immanuel. It's this way. It's the Hebrew way of saying Emmanuel. All right. It says power is with us. Yeah, he's in the mix. Read this.
This is the book.
Sister, 1 second, please.
This is the book of James, chapter 1 and verse 1. James, a servant of power and of Hamashiach Yahushua,
The Lord Jesus Christ, so-called Jesus Christ.
to the 12 tribes,
To the who?
to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad. Greetings.
Yeah, so the 12 tribes are scattered abroad to other languages. That's why they went to Corinth, they went to Ephesians, all right? They went to Asia, all right? They went to Africa, all right? Why did they go to them places? Because they had to know that when you go there, you can't just go there and just speak any language, all right? Go to Acts chapter 21. Yeah. Yeah, and then look, read. Then it says 37.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 21 and verse 37. And as Paul was to be led into the castle, and he said unto the chief captain, may I speak unto thee? Who said, canst thou speak Greek?
And he said, what? Can you speak Greek? Like, he was confused. He's like, I thought you, and because they mistaked him to be an Ethiopian. Is it an Ethiopian?
Yeah.
Egyptian. An Egyptian. He said, what? Can you speak Greek? I thought he was an Egyptian, though. Because why could he speak Greek? Because we were in Greece. We was captives to the Greeks. Alright? In 70 AD, right? When we was before we was the Romans took over, we was in the Greek Empire. Right? We was talking about that with the we was talking about that with the Babylonian captivities. Alright? Babylon, Persia, Greece, Rome. So we had people speaking Asian. Right? We had people in Asia. Right? Because in Mordecai, the time of Esther, there was a decree to say that wicked guy that wanted to kill the Israelites, it's depleted. So he sent letters to Asia. So when we had to go and prophesy the gospel, it was prophesied in 4 different languages. So when we read 1 Corinthians, this is the spirit. You want to hear about the tongues? We're going to break it down, and then once you've got understanding, we'll answer your other questions.
Go to the 1 Corinthians, right, chapter 14. So yeah, because I've got this Bible in, it's easy for me to see. Alright? Yeah, verse 21. Oh, yeah, from 6. Yeah.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 14 verse 6. Now brethren, if I come unto you speaking with tongues, what shall I prove you, except I shall speak to
What shall I profit you?
What shall I profit you? So like,
Yeah, if I come into you speaking in any unknown tongue, that doesn't give, it is no benefit to doing. That's not profiting, it's not edifying. You get it? Like you can say there's a Holy Spirit, it's an evil spirit. Let's be 100%. That's an evil spirit. It looks like you've been possessed by a witch or a demon. You get it? That's not holy. Alright? Yeah, that's magic, yeah, that's witchcraft, man. Alright? You guys, that's you've been possessed, you've been overtaken by an evil spirit. Because no one understands. The Bible has never been said to speak like a crazy madman or a madman. There's no edifying. There's nothing being taught doing it. Understand? It just looks like you've just been touched. Like you're doing that mad thing that, remember we just said, it's the heathens that dance and go, la, 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 la. We don't do that. That's not spirit, man. In the churches, they get possessed. They are possessed with wickedness. You don't understand it. Even in the Bible, it says don't do that. Let's read it again.
now brethren, if I come unto you speaking with tongues, what shall it profit you, except I speak unto you either by revelation, or by knowledge, or by prophesying, or by doctrine.
A revelation is talking about, like we said, the former things he has told us, and the things to come he has declared. So when it says, in that day, thou shalt come, and it shall come to pass, that is prophesying what is coming to pass. That's revelation.
You have God's people that speak things that is going to prophesy things, and it's coming to pass.
Well, all right, but does the Bible give us prophecy?
Yeah.
All right, so are we going to hear men, or are we going to hear the Bible?
It's coming from the throne.
Did we not read it earlier on about the man who says, let God be true and every man a liar? So do you not believe that?
That's gift that God gives.
Give me Numbers chapter 12, verse 6. We're going to find out. All right? But you get that though, right? Don't speak. So do you get that? Do you get that though? Don't speak in an unknown tongue. It's not prophet. It's not prophet. Yeah? It's not prophet. Yeah, you don't understand. It's not doctrine. It's not any knowledge, right? It just getting shabba dabba dabba. That does not make sense, right? So you get that.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 12 and verse 6.
Bring it out.
And he said, hear my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, Yahweh, will make myself known unto him in a vision.
In a vision.
And I will speak unto him in a dream.
So yeah. So what you're saying is people that have visions and have dreams, right? All right. Let's go.
7. My servant Moses is not so, who is faithful in all mine house. With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches, and in similitude of Yahweh shall he behold.
So that means he looked like the heavenly God, like he had a similitude where he had this of big locks, white woolly hair, of that nature, right? He actually mirrored himself to say, yo, you're Yahweh, like, you're Yahweh Shai, I'm gonna look like you, yeah?
Wherefore then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses?
What, do that again?
Wherefore then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses?
So men will speak against Moses. Whatever man that comes and tells you about they've got a dream, yeah, I had a dream, all right? The most
What the Father actually said that he speak, I will speak to you.
yeah.
Before I go.
Yeah, he doesn't speak,
I just want
he
to-
speaks to them in dreams and visions, right? So that, what you said, you're right. He does come to people in dreams and visions. But what it is, the people, they were lagging in iniquities. Okay? So what happens is, give me Joel chapter 2, alright? He took that spirit away from them. He took that away from them. Because he said they were destroyed for a lack of knowledge. It says that Jeremiah 17 and 4. Alright?
Sorry, if it doesn't show you an image of him, like shows you an image of someone.
No, that's not what you're saying, sister. But what it is, give me no, you know what? Let's start. You hold it. All right. Before you read that, let's start first. Give me Genesis chapter 25. All right. No. Forget that one now. Genesis 25. All right. Let's find out. 1 second, sister. Hold your peace, please, and then we'll do it. Shalom. All right. Genesis 25. Shalom means peace. Well, Jerusalem, it means city of peace. So shalom means peace.
Shalom, the same thing but different pronunciation.
Yeah, but we say shalom. Alright? But that's neither here nor there, innit? We don't want to speak in an unknown tongue, right? Because it's not edifying. So we'd rather just say peace, alright? So hold your peace, sister, yeah? Alright, so give me Genesis 25 and verse 23.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 2. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of Yahweh.
And she what?
And she went to inquire of Yahweh.
So do you know what it is? What it means when she said she went to inquire of the Lord? Huh? How do you see God? In the old times. How do you communicate with him? Okay, that's your understanding, though, sister. You get it? That's not what the Bible says how you do it. Let's find out how you. It says, what did it say there? And what? And she went to what?
And she went to inquire of the Lord.
Okay, let's find out how you inquire of the Lord. 1 Samuel chapter 9, verse 9.
This is the book of 1 Samuel.
Salaki.
1 Samuel chapter 9. Chapter 9 and verse 9. And it reads, before time in Israel, when a man went to inquire of power.
Went to what?
Went to inquire of power.
So back in the old times, when you really went to inquire of the Most High, right?
Thus he spake, come and let us go to the seer.
To the who?
To the seer. And for he that is now called a prophet was bedtime called a seer.
Was before time called a seer. So the seers, the way you go to inquire of the Most High. No, but you don't do that anything. No, you see the way you go to inquire of the Most High, you go to the seers. And the seers are called the watchmen. Alright? So we are the watchmen. If you want to inquire of the Most High, what you're doing right now is you are inquiring of the Most High. Because what we're doing, we're giving you the prophets. We're reading Isaiah. We're reading Jeremiah. We're reading Ezekiel. We're reading the prophets. And we are doing it with knowledge. Yeah, we're not doing it with tongue. We're doing it with revelation. We just read, as in the days, this is going to happen.
Otherwise, if I want to see, you'll have to go in the word.
If you want to seek him, you'll go into the word with your head wrapped up. Yeah, women, when they're reading and prophesying, they'll have to cover their heads, right? Wear dresses. Because if you fear God and you want to get knowledge, you're going to have to keep his commandments. You won't gain knowledge disrespecting God. Like, come on, he won't put it upon you. You know what I mean? Like Solomon, right? Solomon says, give me wisdom and understanding. The Most High wouldn't have given wisdom and understanding if he didn't keep his commandments and obey him. You understand? Alright, he wouldn't give him all of the gold and the jewelry and the things. Alright? Read the precept and then your next sister, right? You had a question, right? Not you, yeah? Because she was peaceful.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 7. Remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. Ask thy fathers, and he will show you, and show thee, thy elders, and they will tell thee.
So the seers, all right, they're going to ask the fathers, they're going to go to the prophets, they're going to read, thus saith the word, precept upon precept, to give knowledge. They're not. So when Rebecca, all right, went to the seers to go find out what is this inside of you, all right, the seers told her that 2 nations. This is the prophets told Rebecca 2 nations are in you. So when you read it here, you would think that the Most High come down and spoke to Rebecca, and Rebecca went up to the heavens and they spoke with God. That's not what happened, sister. Alright? Remember with Daniel, alright? Nebuchadnezzar wanted to find out what his dream was about. Did Nebuchadnezzar go speak to the Most High? No. Daniel had to go and get the vision. Alright? So they are the ones that are getting the vision. Alright, give me that Joel chapter 2.
This is the book of Joel, chapter 2, and verse 28. And it shall come to pass afterwards that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your old men shall dream dreams.
And what?
And your old men shall dream dreams.
And it shall come to pass. This is future. This is revelation. This is a revelation, right? That to what the thing you just said earlier on, we're going to receive something from the Most High. We have. Every one up here has. We've received something to say, yo, we need to get ourselves together. Gather ourselves together, O nation that's not desired. Remember we read that earlier on, right? So we know that we are not desired in the EUs, in the United Nations. We know that we're the last ones to be hired, the first ones to be fired. Our daughters are walking around looking like whores. Our mums have brought us up saying that menstruous wild young men in gangs and crimes. We've turned our ways. We've repented from that to come. We can't come out here and teach the people if our hearts ain't true. The Most High would have smited us and beaten us up already. He doesn't allow false prophets to survive. You get it? So now, we're not going to come up here and see a collection plate and say, give us your money. None of that. We're doing this because we love our people. You get it? The pastors don't love you. They want a new jet. They want the new fancy Louis Vuitton, right? Or them golfers, what they call it?
That's right.
The Valentinos. They want the Valentinos, right? You get it? We don't want them fancy suits and bow ties. The tie even represents the phallus symbol of the Nimrod obelisk. Alright? We don't do none of that. We do the fringes, the border of blue, and teaching the daughters of Zion and the sons of Jacob. Alright, so what we're gonna do, alright, read this.
Your young men shall see vision.
Old men dreaming dreams, young men seeing visions, okay?
And also the servants and the handmaids.
So these are the other nations that are less than nothing as well.
In those days I will pour out my spirit.
So like we said, even the other nations, they're doing the will of the Most High. Alright? Everyone's doing the will of the Most High, but we are doing more the will of the Most High. Sister, please. Hey sister, one second. Yeah, what's your name? Alright, but you got have you give her a fly, right? Yeah. We got another sister first and then we'll do it, yeah? No, it's not on the spot, sorry. But yeah, go on sister. What do you think? It's not on the spot, sister. But turn to the Most High, right? Repent and take off them leggings and put on a dress. Alright? No, she needs to hear it, man. No, it's not a game. Alright, repent, change your ways, yeah? Alright, get a man of God. Alright, go on. Huh?
I said about taking our phone. Whenever you ask for it, when you ask God for it, He will give you.
Alright, sister.
Then, and you can't just be putting your phone everywhere or anywhere or in any occasion. The Spirit of God comes down when you ask for it.
Yeah,
and when you are praying. Not just on shouting.
Alright, sister. Alright, sister. So here what, yeah? The reason
The second one is that only God knows what he wants. Only God has the knowledge of everything.
only God knows our hearts, yeah.
Knows everything. You might be thinking you are right, this is it. This is another way to God. Wrong. You hear me?
I'm listening to you.
So, the third one is that when the Spirit of God comes upon you, you will know the difference from the false one of your original spirit, the true spirit.
Give me Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 2. Alright, yeah, so
Not just when everyone is speaking in tongues.
Sister, yeah, that's beautiful. Alright, that's beautiful. The Most High, like you said, just bring this up.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 21 and verse 2. Every way of a man is right in his own eyes.
In his what?
In his own eyes.
A lot of people are walking around thinking that their own righteousness is above God's righteousness. Your righteousness in your own eyes is nothing, okay?
But Yahweh pondereth the heart.
But the Most High, like you said, the Most High, He looks into our hearts, alright? He understands what you're really doing up here. Like we said to you, if our intentions was to do wickedness up here, the Most High would have brought us down. Because He's given us an understanding, alright, that's far above your Christian pastors, alright? He's given us an understanding far above all of these people that are wandering to and fro. They're thinking that they know what their life entitles. What's the meaning of life, sister?
Life.
We just read it though, we should understand it now. What's the meaning of life?
I have to serve God.
The fear of God. Beautiful. That's basically enough. The meaning of life is to fear God. But when you fear God, what are you going to do? You're going to... That's the whole meaning of the duty of man's life. And woman's life. And children's life. Alright? So what we have is so-called blacks, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, Aztecs, alright, Incas, right? They're around the four corners of the globe. Alright? It's not just us doing this. There's guys in the Netherlands. There's guys in Germany. There's guys in Peru. There's guys in the Philippines. There's guys all across the world in Asia doing the same thing we're doing today, out on the Sabbath days, crying out for abominations. And they're prophesying, and they're most likely, they might not even have a YouTube account. They might not even have the internet, but they are still going out and telling their people that they're the Israelites and we have come from slavery. Because the slaves were scattered across the four corners of the world. Alright? The Native Americans, Seminole Indians, they was brought over to Portugal in these places. And the Philippines in these places. And Asia. Alright? So now, we was brought from these, Africa, alright? And even England. Alright? Because we were kings in England. There was black kings. You know about the Israelite kings? Septimius Everest? Because they're going to tell you that you come from slavery. Do you know your history before slavery? Do you know your history before slavery? You see what I'm saying? They're broken, they're destroyed, they lack knowledge. Our people are only being told what the so-called white man wants to tell us, man. We're learning their history, man. They don't know who they are. They just think they're Jamaicans and they just come from slaves. No, we are kings and queens on the earth. Well, not queens, kings and princesses on the earth. Did you ever know that queen means a whore? Queen means prostitute. You don't want to call yourself a queen. Because queens can open up their vaginas to all these different men. That's a whore. So you don't want to call yourself queen, you want to call yourself a princess. Because what? Princesses only belong to their king.
That's right, king.
Alright? That's how it goes. For our women, we can't talk to them too much. Our men, they don't want to hear. They want to bun a slip and go find the nearest drug dealer. Alright? Our people, and who do they get the drugs off? The Turks. The Turks are the ones that are feeding our guys the guns and the heroin, man, and the coke. Alright? Where do we get that from? We don't own these cocaine, we don't own crack. We have to beg a Turkish man to get the plug. Oh, I got the plug, man. I can drive the Maybach. I can drive the Rolls Royce. And you think that's a good thing? God is going to melt the Rolls Royce.
Right.
God is going to destroy your cocaine. Because he says this place has been built on blood. Give me that in Habakkuk chapter 2. Let's read some scriptures again now, right? You see what? I don't like talking on my own tongue. I can stand here and do some evangelizing all day. I just prefer to just go to the Bible and just show people the destruction that God's bringing. Because why are we up here? He's bringing vengeance. Why? Because Isaiah 60 and 61. Isaiah 61. I just want to read about God's vengeance. That's what the pastors didn't want to bring out. I want to bring out all the verses the pastors hopped and skipped over. But to bring you over, I'll read the famous ones to make it plain for you. But we have to go into the business. You can't just read the sweets. Oh yeah, kingdom of heaven is going to be beautiful. The sons and the daughters are going to be happy. Everyone's going to be holding hands, singing Kumbaya.
Can you explain to him? I have social anxiety.
This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood.
The Bible says destruction upon those that build a town with blood. Have you got a £5 note? You got a £5 note? Pull out a five. If you ever pull out a fiver, you think we're making it. You think that we
looking at me.
no, pull out a fiver. Show the system. Go to the Winston Churchill. Go to the pole.
Just let him know.
Go to the pole. You're gonna think we planned
You know what I mean? Yeah. Thank you so
You're
much.
gonna no, turn it around. Winston Churchill. Yeah, but show it to the system. Alright, what does it read? I have no pitch to offer. Winston Churchill, the MP, the Prime Minister for England, back in the 1930s, had nothing to offer but blood. Do you get it? Let's read. Blood, sweat, and tears and turmoil. Alright?
Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood.
And we know the Windrush. Our ancestors know the Windrush. We came over here to build up the dirty, stinking town. But they were throwing feces and piss out the window, man, and urine out the windows. They didn't know about plumbing and sewer systems.
And establisheth a city by iniquity.
Yeah.
Behold, is it not Yahweh of hosts that the people shall labour in the very fire?
In the what?
In the very fire.
They are going to work and labor. They're going to labor in fire. All right? Because they have established this blood. They have established the sheep with blood. They will say, God so loved the world, he's going to bring his son, yes sir. Everyone's going to sing Kumbaya. No, they've built the town with blood, sweat and tears and turmoils, man. So the Bible says destruction upon them, fire upon them.
Wow. And the people shall weary themselves for very vanity.
Let's go to some,
Revelations 19. Revelations 19 and 13. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood. And his name is called the word of power, Yahweh.
Alright, cool, mister. Alright.
No, I said it's fine. We're just reading the Bible, man. Come on.
All praises to Yahweh.
Let's bring it up.
Yeah, Matthew chapter 5, Acts chapter 5.
Alright, yeah, the Most High said the Son of Man, he's going to come with his clothes drenched in blood. And why are they going to be drenched in blood? Because the damn wicked, man. The wicked that builded this town with blood. Who are the Romans? Who are the Romans? The Romans are the ones that pierced the Messiah in the side, right? Are they not the modern day police officers? Basically, right? So now, them guys can do nothing. They can do nothing against the Israelites. Back in the day, the Christians would get brought and crucified and put on a cross for doing things like this. That is what we're prepared for. It says, blessed are they that go through all sorts of tribulations. Can you enter the kingdom without a tribulation? It says you're not allowed to enter the kingdom if you don't go through tribulations. Living up to the philosophies and the standards of this kingdom, they're not going to go into tribulations. They're just going to let you go by. Oh yeah, remember we said it in Psalm 8. Alright? All praises to the Heavenly Father, yeah? You lot were scared of a little pop. Wait for the nuclear weapons, man. Alright? Wait for the bang, wait for the missiles to go off, man. Yeah, boom, oh, everyone's hearts jump. I was like, what, it's like the bang, it started. I was like, hey, they're kicking up already. Like, yeah, like, imagine we're at camp and it kicks up. Like, that will praise, that'll be a mighty day when we see nuclear missiles going bang, bang, smack, pull it, man.
That's right.
All praises. Show me that, all praises. Give me that in Acts chapter 5, verse 30.
Acts chapter 5, verse 31, yeah? Acts 5, 31.
This is the book of Acts chapter 5 and verse 39. But if it be of power, But if it be of power, ye cannot overthrow it.
They can what?
Ye cannot overthrow it. Least happily ye be found even to fight against power.
That's right. If they come up against us, like we said, our hearts are correct. Alright? If the police wanted to really come up against us, alright, then we wasn't doing anything of the Most High. But because these sisters were humble, they were ready to keep fear God and start to keep his commandments in the true way. Alright, because them wicked pastors, they weren't doing it in the correct way. Alright? Now, the Most High says, allow the sisters. The Most High told the police, look, the sisters are learning. Get away. Give me that in Psalms chapter 105, verse 15. It says, give me that another Psalms. Psalms 37. Psalms 37. Psalms 37. Let me just clarify. Psalms 24 and 105 is right.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 105 and verse 5. Remember that his marvelous work. 15, saying, touch not mine anointed, and do my prophets no harm.
The Most High says that no weapon formed against us shall prosper. Alright? He says, touch not his anointed, and do his prophets no harm. You are his anointed ones. Okay? And the prophets don't do them no harm. Alright? He's not going to touch us. Alright? No weapon can touch us.
Psalms 34 and 7. The angel of the Lord encampeth around about them that fear him.
That who?
About them that fear him, and delivereth them.
So the Most High, right? It says, we can go into tribulations. Alright? Read Revelations 2 and 10. Alright, we can go into tribulations, but we're not going to fear. Alright? We haven't given up. The Most High hasn't given us the spirit of fear, but a love of and a sound mind. Alright? If they come because of this.
This is the book of Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10. Fear none of these things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil will cast some of you into prison, that they may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days.
And the Bible specifically says that you cannot enter the kingdom without tribulations. Alright, so if we go through the same tribulations like Daniel, did Daniel say, oh no, I'm scared, don't do that to me? Alright, did Jeremiah say, oh no, alright, I will stop teaching now? Did John the Baptist say, oh no, okay, you guys are not adulterers, I'll take the money, just give me the money and I'll go away? No, they stood up for righteousness' sake. Alright, that's why we read in Psalms 94 and 16. Who will rise up for the Most High Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai against the evildoers and the workers of iniquity? And that's why we are up here. We have put our lives on the line for this. Give me Maccabees chapter, First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 21. Finish. So if you have to go over praises, I know what it is. It's the word of God. That's what's going to gravitate you to the truth. But 2 and 21. Sisters, we love you, yeah? Keep their God, keep his commandments, alright? And just, you know what I mean? Bit by bit, you got the channel, you got time, you know what I mean? Get a loving man that loves the Most High, making an issue, okay? Alright? Wrap your hair, you keep the woolly vibrations as well. I don't want to look like the other nations, you know? God loves you, and he gave you woolly hair, so love him back and keep your woolly hair, you know? You don't want to just look in the mirror and be like, oh no, I don't like what God's done to me. You should love what he done to you by giving you that woolly vibration, you know?
Be thou faithful unto death.
Be that what?
Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee the crown of life.
Oh, so yeah, right. We're up here for crowns, man. Alright? When you read 2nd Ezra chapter 2, it says how the elect will receive crowns, man. And that's what we want. First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 21.
This is the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 2 and verse 20. Yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our fathers. God forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinances. This is the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 21. But we fight for our lives and our laws.
What?
But we fight for our lives and our laws.
That's what we're up here to do. Alright? We're up here to say we need to keep the laws. That's why they don't want us to read the Maccabees in the church, you know? Because the Maccabees were keeping strong. They were fighting. Have you heard of the Spartans? The Lacedaemonians, the Spartans? They were Israelites. They were so-called blacks, Native American, Seminole Indians. We are the real Spartans, man. Not these damn Greeks, right? The Romans. The so-called blacks are the Spartans. That's why they want to knock the noses off of all of the statues, man. Why did the Renaissance period they knocked all the noses off? Alright? Because we hold that special, we got a special identity that's got big lips, hairy woolly hair, and big noses. Alright? That's just the facts. Alright?
You've got something, yeah?
This is the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 2 and verse 38. Arise and stand. Behold, the number of those that be sealed in the fast of Yahweh, which are departed from the shadows of the world, and have received glorious garments of Yahweh. Hashem Yahushai. Take thee number of Zion, and shut up those of thine that are clothed in white, which have fulfilled the law of Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai.
So yeah, the ones that are in the white garments that have fulfilled the laws of the Messiah are the ones that will receive mercy. Alright, that's the elect. Okay? 45.
Verse 45. He answered and said unto me, these be they that have put off moral clothing and put on immortality, and have confessed the name of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. Now are their crowned and receive some. Verse 43. And in the midst of them there was a young man, and of a high stature, taller than all the rest. Upon every one of his head he sat crowned, and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly.
And that's the Messiah. The Messiah is going to set crowns on the elect's heads, alright? But the Messiah is going to be taller and more exalted than everyone on the earth. And everyone is going to marvel at him. You know when you see, like, in the carnal world, the women, when they see like Denzel Washington, they'll be like, oh, Denzel. They marvel at him, right? Imagine when they see the Messiah. A woman cried so hard, she actually washed the Messiah's feet with tears.
That's right.
That is how they marvel when they see the Messiah. Alright? They're going to be like, oh, I'm crying so much. Oh no, Messiah, I didn't believe in you. Alright? I didn't trust in you. But they're going to cry, and he's going to say, move for me, you workers of iniquity. I don't know you. Imagine all these, you know what I mean? Look how you dealt with the men of Israel. You know what I mean? A lot of the women, they're not going to get it nice, you know? Because look what they do to the men. You know what I mean? Kick out the fathers. Disrespect the dads, man. You like to get this Bible? Yeah? Alright, you get that from Amazon, auntie. Yeah. Alright? Oh, you got it there. Alright, yeah. No, we don't sell these. You buy it from Amazon. Get your nephew, or get your son, or your grandchild, your grandson or granddaughter, to look it up, okay, and buy it for you. They'll be good to use the unicorn. They'll be good with the internet. Alright? Amazon. Have you heard of Amazon? Not the forest, not the Amazon forest. The Amazon, the app. The application. Yeah? Okay, yeah. I don't know if it's known or Yo! How you been, man? We had a good conversation. Oh, is it not that this week? The Most High put a spirit on man. He's an antichrist, man. He's the devil worshiper, man. The man put a yoke on his own neck, man.
When he comes, it went dark.
When he come round, it was a darkness, a cloud was over him, man. Auntie, you get home safely, please, yeah? You get home safely. You're a strong auntie, man.
Yeah, she's a stunning.
You're a stallion sister. All praises, okay? He was
Things like that, yeah, it went dark when you came.
Yeah, you get home safely, right? Alright, love you, yeah? Let's give the sister a round of applause. Beautiful daughter outside. Alright? But auntie, don't buy on the Sabbath day. Today, Friday sundown, Saturday sundown is the Sabbath to the Most High, right? That's the Sabbath day holy. Alright? That's one thing we have to get ourselves together. But some of them are telling them that Sunday is the day of Sabbath, man. Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, man. That's the sister's a strong sister as well. Yeah, she's strong. She's going to transform herself as well. Because we all have to get there. We don't get there overnight, but we have to make, the steps. We have to take the steps to go to them.
That's right.
Alright?
Yeah, what are we holding?
I'm very interested.
Yeah? You're interested, yeah?
I used to learn about it once.
Okay. You stopped, yeah? But look, at the same time, we're going to have to read this, give me Ecclesiastes, chapter 12. Preacher, yeah, chapter 12, verse 1. Get me Sirach, chapter 8. Hold on.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, the preacher, chapter 12 and verse 1. Remember now that thou creator in the days of thy youth.
Alright, the Bible says while we're young, we should know the Creator. Okay?
That's
so
right.
It's like, you know what I mean? I know it's like we said, we were destroyed for lack of knowledge and we were discontinued from our heritage, yeah? And there's not of, like we said, there's not a lot of righteous men out there. Like we said, there's only 144,000 out of the billions that are amongst us. Alright?
While the evil days come not.
So yeah, the evil days are coming. And that's what we can see. Why is he looking like a rude boy today? Huh? Why are you looking like you're a rude boy today?
I'm on what?
Moving like you're on this team. You went on this team in Seven Sisters.
Huh?
You're looking effeminate in Seven Sisters. Now you're up here looking like you're going to do something. Like, what are you going to do?
No, I just don't like how you guys
Humble
sorry,
yourself.
wait,
Humble
I'm
yourself.
teaching you later.
No, the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have not no pleasure in them.
So look, while you're young, it's good to take pleasure in the Most High, because you can grow up as a strong sister, innit? Like when you're doing it when you're old, you've already they say you can't put new wine in an old bottle, because if there's that saying of being a new wine, it's like you're ready to take it in. But when you're an old bottle and you put new wine inside the old bottle, what will happen is the bottle breaks, because what it is, it fizzes. And what it is, that bottle has already been through all them philosophies and all of them things before. Once you put the new wine in, it's just going to snap the bottle. And that's happens in your life. When you're in a wine, the wine, what they call it?
Wine cellars.
The wine cellars, what they call it again?
The brewery.
Huh?
The wine brewery.
The breweries. Yeah, they know they have to use a new bottle, a new glass bottle when they're dealing with new wine. Because it's
The new product.
yeah, because it bubbles. The wine bubbles. And you can't put that new one because it will snap the old bottle. The new one will snap the old bottle. Right? So
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 6 and verse 18. My son, gather instruction from thy youth.
and thy daughters,
From thy youth up, so shalt thou find wisdom till old age.
so yeah, so when you're an old age, they say even the wise ones, right? What is it?
With the handout.
No, you don't get the handout. You don't get the handout. The only handouts you get in there is judgment. Alright? What's you up here?
Huh?
What you up here for this week?
Actually where I'm from.
Huh?
This is actually where I'm from.
To ask us where you're from.
No, this is where I'm from.
Oh, you're
I was
from
from the
Peckham.
photo shoot.
You're not from Peckham, man. You said you're from Zimbabwe or something. Zambia, yeah.
Can we carry on, please?
Yeah, Slovakia, sorry. So yeah, that understanding, you gotta get understanding from while we're young. Alright? But let's get some understanding. Titus chapter 2. Let's give this understanding to women. Alright? You understand, Peter, right? When it says Peter, 1 Peter chapter 5.
The devils come and take the shine.
Yeah, give me Matthew chapter, Mark chapter 4 verse 14. Give me Mark chapter 4 verse 14. And we're not the sons of the darkness, we're the sons of the light. We're not the sons of darkness or the daughters of darkness. We're the sons and the daughters of light. Right?
That's right. First Peter chapter 5. Chapter 3.
See how quickly we'll go in?
Yeah, give me that man. Mark 4, yeah,
Mark 4:14. The sower sows the word, and these are they by the wayside, where the word is sown.
Like you're saying, like what you're saying is spiritual. Because the Bible says the sower sows the word. We're out here sowing the word. We're proof like we said, the sower is what we're plowing. And we're plowing and we're putting seeds into the people. Okay, yeah?
But when they have heard, Satan cometh immediately and taketh away the word that was sown in their hearts.
So I would like to apologize. Because I should be prepared for things like that. I've seen things like that happen. That's called spiritual.
That's right.
That's spiritual. And you're a spiritual sister. So now, like, I'm apologizing because I should have been more aware of that. That was a dumb spirit that tried to take us away. Let's jump back in. Yeah? All praise. I hope you can forgive me.
Titus chapter 2 verse 1. But verse 3, the aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becoming holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women to be faithful.
So look, all the women, I'm going to teach the young women to be faithful.
To love their husband, to love their children.
I know the old women might not be telling you this, but you can't be like, oh, forget your daddy's a waste man, your daddy's a good for nothing. You can't teach your daughters that. You understand? Alright? You gotta teach your daughters to love your husbands and to give honor to their fathers. And if you gotta honor your father and mother, so your days can live long. If you don't honor your father and mother, then your days won't be long on the earth.
Verse 5, to be discreet.
To be discreet, right? Women are meant to be discreet.
Chaste, keepers at home.
So chaste means like, see that how you are now? Yeah, you're enclosed, humble, alright? Keepers at home, alright? So, yeah, exactly. Keepers at home, obedient to their husbands, alright?
That the word of power be not blasphemed.
So that's if you don't do that, you're blaspheming the word of God, because our women are not meant to be walking around to and fro on the earth. Alright? Walking around. Yeah? Alright, so yeah, get that one.
This is the book of 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 1. Likewise, ye wives, be in submission to your own husband.
Be in subjection.
Subjection.
Be in subjection to your own husband. Okay? Because
that if any, if any obey not, they also may without the word be warned by the conversation of the wife, while they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear.
yeah, so a new man that is not, like if you got a husband and he doesn't listen to the Bible, you're meant to compel him to start turning to the Bible. Alright? Because you need to compel him with fear. See the same way he says, yo, the Most High is coming with chariots. Alright? And I need to be a savior. I need to be saved under you. I need to be, you're my hiding place. I'm a damsel. Like how Noah saved his wife, like how Lot was supposed to save his wife. You should want your husband to save you. Yeah? So you gotta tell him, yo, keep the commandments, fix up, like get yourself together, like, because we're Israelites, you need to get yourself together. If he's not an Israelite, move away from that man. Alright? Yeah, flee from him. Yeah, he's the wicked of the Bible. Right? He's the Satan. Alright? He's the deceiver.
Who's adoring? Let it not be that outward adoring, for plaiting the hair and wearing of gold, and putting on apparel.
So like we saw the sister earlier on, it's not about braiding hair, gold, and alright, Chanel, you know what I mean? I don't know these MK. Well, you know what? It can be Louis Vuitton, it can be Versace, whatever. It just has to be 100% material. Let's not get carnal minded on fashionable things, right? As long as you go in your wardrobe and you find there's 100% dresses or t-shirts and skirts and that, you can wear a t-shirt and a skirt, but this is modest apparel, right? if you find 100%, it doesn't matter what design it is, yeah. But it does matter about its material and about its modest, its meaning of its not lustful, okay, modesty. Yeah?
But let it be the hidden man of the heart, in the which is not corruptible, even the ornaments of the meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shai, of great price. For after this manner, in the old time, the holy women also, who trust in power, adorn themselves, being subjection unto their own husbands, even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord.
Yeah, so that the verses were saying, let it be in the man. Like the man can wear the braided hair and the gold and the pearl. Like women, they don't do that, okay? But they're going to do it in a way that they're going to be knowledgeable, all right? So they can be rude in speech, but yet they're wise of the scriptures, yeah? They're not going to just have braided hair and gold and things on to be boastful, all right? But it says, let women, okay, obey their husband, okay, like how Sarah obeyed her husband. You know Sarah, all right? She loved Abraham so much, she gave her son, she gave Abraham a handmaid. She gave Abraham a woman because she lacked faith. They both were lacking a bit of faith. You understand? They didn't break any commandments, but they didn't keep what God was saying. Yahweh was saying, I will give you Isaac to Sarah. But Sarah was getting a bit old. She said, you know what, Abraham, I know you're my husband, but here, take the young girl, the young slave girl. Alright? And that is how women are not like that nowadays. Women are not like, oh yeah, let's have another woman around. You know what I mean? Because they're very selfish. Women are very selfish, you understand? There's 7 women to 1 man. So not all these women can be saved if they need a man to save them. That means they don't love their sister. You see?
1 Peter 3 and 6. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord.
Yeah, 1 Peter 3 and 6.
This is the book on 1 Peter 3 and 6. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters ye are, as long as ye do the will, and are not afraid with any amazement. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge.
So yeah, so even likewise, the husbands now, there's a job for the husbands that we're meant to deal with our sisters and our wives in knowledge. If we don't deal with our wives in knowledge and we use the Bible to do all sorts of sign of in a lustful way, fornicating way, it's not going to benefit. You get the sisters. Right?
Sirach 25 verses 20. Verses 19. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman.
So now, sister, one thing you're going to have to realize, right? Wickedness started from women, all right? The border of wickedness, all right, comes from the woman. So one thing you might realize that women, all right, they're not really meant to be teaching the Bible, all right. It's better that you learn, like it says, let women, all right, let women learn from likewise women. Read that again. I don't want to get.
Likewise, women, all the women.
1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 7. Likewise, ye men, dwell with your women according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessels, and as being heir together of the grace of life, that your prayers may not be hidden.
So women are weaker vessels, man. I know there are women out there say, oh, I'm a one girl power, all right, strong, like feminist, like women power, but women are weaker vessels. And they are. They're like they don't want to see them. They don't want to have a boxing match. They don't want to run up against us in the Olympics. They don't want to wrestle with us. They don't want to play football with us. You know what I mean? But what the world has got now is women trying to be men and men trying to be women. And men are now running in the Olympics against the women, and they're going into the boxing ring with the women, and they're beating up women, right? And they're trying to win just to win a trophy. Just to get their name up on the scoreboard. Alright, there's some crazy men. Alright?
All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. As the climbing up a sandy way is to the feet of the aged, so is a wife full of words to a quiet man.
Yeah, so what we're saying is, you want to be nice. Hold that, we're trying to So yeah, when you're dealing with your wife dealing with the husband, they shouldn't be going home. Oh my gosh, what are you doing? Why can you never bring the thing at the shopping? Why didn't you wash up the dishes? Why didn't you make sure the children went to school? And you're just bickering in your husband's ear. You can't do that. Alright? And that's what we notice with our mums, with our dads, isn't it? Like, it's not nice, like what we notice, and the women say, oh dear, leave your dad's a waste man, he's not nothing, he's a well, you can't talk about your husbands like that, man. Alright? You're meant to be a pillow of rest to your husband. Alright? A wife, why does certain black men, so-called black men, they go and they leave the woman with all the children, and they go and look for a so-called white girl, man, or an Asian girl, man. It's because you bring them stress, you bring them drama, alright? And the so-called white girl is going to do all sorts of lustful things to the man to hold on to him, to show that so-called black girl, she's not good enough. You get it? You get it? Like, that's what the women are meant to do. They're meant to be a pillow of rest to their husbands, man.
That's right.
Stumble not at the beauty of a woman.
Do what?
Stumble not at the beauty of a woman.
Yeah, so when you look at us up here, don't think because you got your bosoms hanging out and your thing wobbling everywhere that we're gonna be caring about that stuff, man. We don't stumble at that. Yeah, because we know that's gonna be judged. That's why I said when the Messiah comes, alright? When the Messiah comes, he's just gonna kick them guys in the face that are gonna try to cry at his feet. Don't know when you lot was wobbling your fatty at the prophets and trying to go on like you were something on the roads. You know what I mean? So now you want to cry to me now. Then they kick them in the face, man. Take your dirty tears off my feet. Take your dirty tears off my feet. You're gonna kick them, man. I don't know. You don't want to get a kick on them. Wow. I mean, imagine like a Goku or something kicking you in my feet. Yeah? You know what I mean? Mama's got what? Infinity 1,000 power level. And he just chewing them feet. Mama kick you to another realm, man. To another realm, man. It's gone again. He might kick you so hard your skeleton goes that way and your flesh is still sitting there. Yeah, these are the terrible demons. These are the powers that we're going to get. Righteous like powers. Angelical powers, man. Right?
As the climbing up a sandy way is to the feet of the aged, so is a wife full of words to a quiet man. Stumble not at the beauty of a woman, and desire her not for pleasure. A woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger.
Exactly, but Sarah wasn't like that. Sarah maintained her husband, and she still said, look, I've maintained you, but here, have Hagar. Alright? And she brought forth Ishmael. Alright? That's called what's that called? Proverbs 31 and 10. Yeah, bring that out. Let's find out what that woman's called again. I've even forgot what the woman's called. What's she called? Wow.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 31 and verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman?
That's what it's called. Wow. I haven't seen a virtuous woman in so long. I forgot what they were called, bro. Wow, that's not good. That's not good for a man to not understand what a virtuous. You get it? Like, that's not a good look. We should see virtuous women everywhere, man. That's right. Did you remember? Like, there's meant to be virtuous women on the earth, all right? And we're not seeing virtuous women on the earth. Why do you know why we're talking about women? Because we're talking to a woman. No, we're not. We're talking to this beautiful daughter of Zion. No, I can do what I like. Because maybe it will go into the ears of a woman that wants to be virtuous, man. Alright? Alright? Why are we not together? Because he's a batty man. He's the chichi man. What about the virtuous men? We'll find out. We'll read. There's meant to be, you see what he says? It could be spiritual as well. Because there's meant to be virtuous men as well. Alright? But like we said, they want to be gangsters. They want to be rude ones. They want to find out where the Colombians and them are going to bring in the cocaine, when the Vietnamese man are going to bring in the poppy seeds. You understand? And bring in the heroin, man. We don't want to deal with that stuff. We want to deal with righteousness. Alright? Bring up the virtuous men, Ecclesiastes. Wait, how did you go? Alright? If you're not got the one that's right,
This is the book of Proverbs chapter 31 and verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above ruby.
The price of rubies are more precious than gold. Emerald, that's Judah. She could be Judah. Emerald is Judah's gold. Right?
That's right.
Onyx, there's
That's right.
Amethyst, there's Lycia, there's sapphire, beryl, there's 12. There's 12 stones of the tribe of Israel. See, like she's got that David sign on her chest. Yeah. There's meant to be a breastplate on her chest. Yeah. Give me that. Yeah. So yeah, let's go in. We're dealing with women, right? How can you be a virtuous woman? Where's that piece of paper here? Yeah, let's write that down. These are the go-to tricks. Read that.
Verse 11. The heart of her husband do safely trust in her, so that she shall have no need for spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. She'll seeketh wood and flax and worketh willingly for her with her hands. She is like a merchant ship. She bringeth her food from afar. She rises up also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household, and a portion of her maidens. She considereth the field and buyeth it. With the fruits of her hand she planteth a vineyard.
So yeah, all of this stuff is talking about what it is, the requirements of being a virtuous woman. Alright? We're not going to read it all out to you now. There's some scriptures that we've been reading out so far. They're on there to give you a little foundation to move forward with the Most High, right? Because that's what it's about. It's about a foundation. You need to build first with them certain things, and then like put the videos there. You'll go through it, and you'll just find. Yeah, when you go through the videos, you'll find certain times when we talked about women. We talked about the stubborn, rebellious daughters of Zion, and how they are, man. We don't want to nag our women, that we don't love our women. We love the women of Israel. They are beautiful and comely. Remember we said that, right? Daughters of Zion. But what we've noticed is Amos 7:17. Right? Give me that. Amos 7:17. Amos 7:17.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 28. 26. And I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bands. Whoso pleaseth power shall escape from her.
Wow. That's in Solomon. Solomon says there's nothing worse than a wicked woman, man. Let's be real, come on. You know, like a man could go through all sorts of wars, fights on the roads, but when you got a woman that you care for and you love, and she breaks your heart, a man can go suicidal. A man can go suicidal, man. Because she's a damsel, she does something to the man that no one else can. Alright? And that's to a righteous man, not no faggot man. You understand? Yeah, a woman can really break a man's heart, man. But that's a snare unto a man that lets that woman get over him, man. You can't let when you come up to men of God, they're not gonna let women rule over them. They're not gonna let women break them down. That only happens to weak men. Alright? A strong man who's gonna know how to stand up against certain women, not holding their handbags. Oh yes, how high do you want me to go? How much money do you want me to go get for you? How much money should I steal? How much coke should I sell? How much weed should I put in the baggie? No. You understand? Because that's all men are doing up here, man. Alright? It's all for women, man. The man are most probably playing football just so that they can go and get the footballers' wives, man, to get a beautiful woman, man. Everyone's living their life for women. Alright? All these men. And all these women are living their lives to whore out the men and get the money and book. They're called boobsies. Sugar daddies. Yeah?
What about the men? How does the man feel?
How does a man feel? Yeah. But they don't care about that.
But the sinner shall be taken by her.
Sinners are taken by women. Alright? Only if you sin, that is, if you're keeping the laws and the commandments, you won't be taken by a woman. But if you just want to sin and do all sorts of stupidness, the woman is going to know how to break your barriers, man.
Verse 27, behold, this have I found, saith the preacher, counted one by one to find out the account.
The preacher has counted, the preacher that Solomon, remember King Solomon, the wisest man upon all the earth. No one is wiser than Solomon. Alright? No, even till this day, not one man, not Isaac Newton, alright, not Tesla, alright, not Madame Tussauds, none of these women, not Stephen Hawking, none of these, not what's his name, Bill Gates, or what's that one that's in the, Stephen Hawking, yeah. None of these robot men, alright, are more wiser than King Solomon.
That's right.
So he went around, looking around the whole world. Remember, kings used to come to King Solomon. Trying to find understanding of knowledge, right? Alright, go.
Verse 28, which yet my soul seeketh, but I find not. One man among 1,000.
What?
One man among 1,000 have I found.
Only one man amongst 1,000 has he found. So look at that. That's the 144,000. Do you get that? Solomon found one man amongst 1,000. And that was the elect that he found. He found, wow, I found an elect. That Solomon was that wise, he knew who the elect would have been, didn't he? If he's that wise, he would have known which one would have been an elect. Alright, because Solomon, if you ever understand it, he's the Messiah as well. He's a main generation, but I don't see it.
But a woman among all those have I not found.
What?
But a woman among all those have I not found.
There's not one virtuous woman on this earth. That's amazing, man. That's why I didn't know. Nobody said, oh, what about the men? There are virtuous men. That's the 144,000 elect of Israel. 12,000 coming out of the 12 tribes of the so-called blacks, Native Americans, and the Seminole Indians, the one that's being put in slavery and tribulations. Alright? But we know that there's hardly any virtuous women out on the roads, man. And all these guys on the Facebook, these so-called Israelites. Oh, there's even Israelites that are like, oh, I'm virtuous Sarah, I'm virtuous Roseanne, I'm virtuous Diana. Like they've got their names, virtuous Diana on them. There's no virtuous woman out here, man.
Neutral.
Yeah, man, women be sober. Read that again, man. There's no virtuous women out here, man. Okay, alright. What's going on? Yeah, man. What's going on out here, man? Wow. Yeah, that's just the spirit, innit? You know what? We didn't come up here today to try and talk about women and things of that nature, right? We came up here to do the spirit of prophecy. But the spirit has come out that we're going to do. What are we going to do? But turn away.
This is the book of Titus, chapter 2 and verse 4. That they may teach the young women to be sober.
To be what?
To be sober. To love their husbands. To love their children.
Yeah. So look, we're going to have to teach the women, alright, that they need to be sober-minded, man. Alright? They can't be drunk out here. Yeah, give me Isaiah chapter 5 and verse 11.
When you're drunk, you forget what you do. Is it right or wrong? When you're drunk,
you're not
you wake
sober.
up the next day and you say, what did I do last night? Oh my God.
She most really got caught up by all these different sorts of men and maybe got raped, but she don't even know.
This is the book of Isaiah chapter 5 and verse 11.
Bring it out.
Woe unto them that rise up early in the morning, that they may follow strong drink.
And the drink is so strong, she's standing 2 meters away and I can smell it from her mouth. That is stinking, man.
that continue unto that till wine enslaved them.
So when did you start drinking? Because it's really strong on your breath. When did you start drinking? When are you going to stop drinking? Alright, so look, you can keep going then. This ain't none of my business. You can keep your business over there. Because our women don't need to look like this, man. Hey, where's that Amos chapter 7?
This is the book of Amos, chapter 7 and verse 17. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, thy wife shall be an harlot in the city.
Like what?
Thy wife shall be an harlot in the city.
Our wives, the daughters of Israel, are looking like harlots in the city, man. We're seeing all sorts of leggings and the summertime clothing. We're seeing all sorts of bosoms and things hanging up. Beautiful dresses though, very modest. I love that. That's beautiful. Our wives need to look more modest, man, in these times, man. Not seeing the tightest leggings and seeing camel toes, man. Alright? And seeing damn rumpers out, man.
And thy sons and thy daughters.
It's not rude, it's righteous, sister. We're speaking righteousness. Alright?
And thy sons and thy daughters shall fall by the sword, and the land shall be divided by line, and thou shalt die in a polluted land.
Exactly, and this land is polluted. Like why? Because we said, alright, Numbers chapter 35 and verse 33. This land, woe to them that build a town with blood, man. This town was built on the blood, sweat and tears of the natives, the Seminole Indians and the Negroes, man. This town is going to be destroyed because of that. Why? Because of the verses in the Torah.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 35 and verse 33. So ye shall not pollute the land.
The land, we're in a polluted land. This is why you shouldn't pollute the land.
Wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land.
Because this land is now defiled. Alright? Because of the blood that has spilled. Don't forget the Native Americans and the Seminole Indians. Alright? The Gadites, man. Alright? And the Reubenites. Alright? The blood that has been spilled of our ancestors. Hold that up, brother. Hold that up proudly, man. Alright? This is a mourning of our people. You can't forget your ancestors, man. Alright? We will not forget about slavery. I've been watching Roots from a baby, man. I was watching Roots, Goodbye Uncle Tom, and they got new ones called Django for the youth, for the new youth, man. Watch Django. Alright? What happened to Kunta Kinte? What happened to Nat Turner? What happened to Rosa Parker? Alright? They used to have fountains that says no whites. I mean, whites only. They used to have dogs, they used to have pubs, that they used to have shops saying no blacks, no white and no dogs can go into that. Forget the Irish, man. There's no one that says no blacks can go into the shops. Why do people forget, but we want to love the world? Oh, love them. Don't forgive them. They didn't mean it. But yet they're still killing us in the streets.
That's right.
All right? The policemen are still hunting us down and sticking us in prison houses, man.
That's right.
All right? Give me that in Isaiah chapter 42. Isaiah 42:22. All right? Oh yeah, finish this.
And the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein.
And this land cannot be cleansed of the blood of the Native Americans, Seminole Indians and the Negroes.
But by the blood of him that shed it.
Is that in the Bible? Is the Bible saying that the ones that shed innocent blood has to shed? By the ones that, by the grandchildren, the great grandchildren of them that shed it. So we, by default, so-called blacks, Native Americans, have to shed the blood of the Caucasians. Because that's in the Bible. That's God's judgment. Because what you defiled the blood of our ancestors, you defiled the land with the blood of our ancestors, man. Why isn't the pastors reading these commandments? Why aren't they reading these things in the Bible, man? Give me that in what you saw, shall you read? Galatians chapter 6 and 7. Alright, Galatians 6 and 7.
Isaiah 42 and 22. But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses.
And they are hid in prison houses.
They are for prey and none deliverer.
And this is the Israelites, man. This ain't the Israelis. This ain't the so-called Jewish man. The Jewish man ain't built up in prison houses, man. The Jewish man ain't snared in holes. Alright? They come out of the Caucasus Mountain caves, now they're very proud and boastful, and now they build skyscrapers up to the ceiling, man. Like Nimrod, all right? They are not filled up the prison cells, man. Brother, you okay? Do you want to... We're here for you, bro. Huh? Oh, we're called the Vine of Israel.
Yeah, the vine of Israel. Give him a smile. Yeah, we're Vine of Israel. We're Israelites of the Bible. Yeah. Where you from? Where's the nationality? Ghana. Oh, Ghana. Ashanti, man. Kwame, man. Miminida. Yeah, Miminida. Yeah? You know Miminida, yeah? What is today?
I don't have nothing, I'm sorry.
Today is Miminida, isn't it? Yeah? And what does that mean? It means God's day, isn't it? Yahweh's day, isn't it? I am today, right? Who is the I am? Who is the I am? God of Israel. God of Israel.